On a distant planet, far from Earth, an alien mercenary named Threxen was known for his cold heart and ruthless actions. He traveled the galaxy, taking on dangerous jobs and causing trouble wherever he went. Threxen was proud of his reputation, but today would change everything. He arrived on Earth with a mission, thinking it would be just another easy task. Little did he know that he would make a mistake that would awaken something powerful. Earth was filled with lush green fields, vibrant cities, and life everywhere. The people of Earth had worked hard to create peace with the other races in the galaxy. They believed in diplomacy, understanding, and kindness. A human diplomat named Sarah was walking through a beautiful park in one of Earth's cities. Beside her was her beloved pet, a small creature with bright fur and big, trusting eyes. The pet was more than just an animal to Sarah, it was her friend, her family. They had shared many adventures together, exploring the world around them. As Sarah walked, laughing and playing with her pet, Threxen spotted them from a distance. He had just finished a meeting with other aliens and felt invincible. He watched Sarah with a smirk, thinking that humans were weak and soft. The park was peaceful, filled with families and children, but Threxen felt a sudden urge to prove his power. He wanted to show everyone that he was not to be messed with, even if it meant hurting an innocent creature. In a moment of madness, Threxen approached Sarah and her pet. The joy in Sarah's eyes turned to confusion as the alien loomed over them. Threxen, with a sneer, reached out and grabbed the pet, lifting it off the ground. "What will you do, little human? Call for help?" he mocked. Before Sarah could react, Threxen crushed the small creature in his fist. The park fell silent. Shock spread through the crowd as people realized what had just happened. Sarah dropped to her knees, crying out for her pet. The once vibrant park turned dark with the weight of Threxen's cruelty. People rushed to Sarah's side, but Threxen just laughed, believing he had made a statement. "Humans are nothing," he declared, his voice echoing through the park. However, this was a mistake that would cost him dearly. The news of Threxen's brutal act spread quickly across Earth. Social media exploded with videos and messages. People were outraged, their anger boiling over. The alien had not just killed a pet, he had struck at the heart of what it meant to be human. The sense of community, love, and connection that the humans shared was now ignited by a fierce desire for justice. In a dark room, high above the bustling cities of Earth, the leaders gathered. They were worried, fearful of what Threxen's actions could lead to, but they also knew this was not the time to back down. Earth had a hidden strength, super soldiers from a time long past, locked away in cryo chambers, waiting for a moment like this. They had been put to sleep during an age of peace, but peace was now threatened. The leaders made a decision. They would awaken these legendary fighters. These super soldiers were not just warriors. They were humanity's last hope. They had fought in the most brutal wars, and now they would be called upon again to protect Earth and restore its honor. As the scientists began the process of reviving the super soldiers, a sense of urgency filled the air. Earth was not going to let Threxen's mistake go unpunished. They would show the galaxy that humans were not weak, that they were capable of great strength and resilience. And so the countdown began. The world watched with bated breath, knowing that revenge was coming. Threxen, in his arrogance, had awakened a force he could never have imagined. The super soldiers would rise and Earth would answer for the wrongs done to them. This was just the beginning. The stage was set for an epic clash, and the alien mercenary had no idea what was coming. Deep beneath the surface of Earth, in a hidden facility known only to a few, scientists and military leaders worked tirelessly. The room was filled with machines, screens flashing with data, and the hum of technology filled the air. This was the place where humanity's most powerful warriors lay frozen in time. They were the super soldiers, created for a time of war but put to sleep when peace came. Now that peace was under threat, and the world needed them again. The leaders gathered in a large meeting room, their faces serious. They knew they had to act quickly. The news of the alien mercenaries' brutal act had spread like wildfire. The people of Earth were angry and wanted justice. But this time, it was not just about revenge. It was about showing the galaxy that humans could fight back. They had a secret weapon, and it was time to unleash it. The scientists explained the process of waking the super soldiers. Each soldier was kept in a cryo chamber, suspended in a state of deep sleep. They had been genetically enhanced, trained in the art of war, and were once the most feared fighters in the galaxy. Now, as the alarm sounded, the scientists began the awakening process. It was a complex operation that required precision and care. One by one, the chambers started to open, releasing thick clouds of mist. Inside each chamber was a soldier, strong and ready for battle. The first to wake was Commander Rain, a towering figure with a fierce expression. He opened his eyes, taking in his surroundings. Rain had fought in many wars and had a reputation for being a brilliant strategist. He was ready to lead his brothers and sisters into battle again. As each soldier emerged from their chambers, they began to remember their past. Flashbacks of intense training and battles filled their minds. They felt the rush of adrenaline, the thrill of combat, and the camaraderie of their fellow soldiers. They were not just waking up, they were returning to a purpose. The scientists briefed them on what had happened. Threxon's attack and the loss of a beloved pet had sparked a fury in the hearts of humans. The soldiers listened closely, their expressions hardening. They understood the pain and anger that Earth felt. They had always fought for humanity, and now they would fight again. But this time it was personal. Rain, standing at the front, felt a surge of determination. "We will show them what we are made of," he declared, his voice strong and commanding. The other soldiers nodded, filled with a sense of unity and purpose. They quickly began their training, sharpening their skills and preparing their weapons. The facility buzzed with energy as the soldiers worked together. They practiced combat drills, strategized, and updated their equipment with the latest technology. They felt alive again, their muscles aching from the intensity of their workouts. Each day brought them closer to their mission. They were becoming a well-oiled machine, ready to unleash their fury on the alien mercenaries. As they trained, the world outside changed. News reports covered the story of the aliens' attack and the awakening of the super soldiers. People across the globe began to rally behind them, feeling hope rise in their hearts. The message was clear. Earth was not going to sit back and let the aliens push them around any longer. The super soldiers represented a new dawn for humanity, a powerful force that would fight for their honor and pride. Finally, the day of action arrived. Rain and his fellow soldiers stood ready, adrenaline pumping through their veins. The time for talk was over, it was time for action. They would not only avenge the pet that had been killed, but would send a message to the entire galaxy. Humans were not weak, and they would not be intimidated. As they prepared to launch their counterattack, Rain felt a deep sense of responsibility. He knew that they carried the hopes and dreams of Earth on their shoulders. They would fight not just for revenge, but to protect their home. The soldiers took their places, and with a final shout of determination, they prepared to unleash their fury on the alien mercenaries. The countdown had begun, and the galaxy would soon witness the power of humanity. On a distant planet, deep within the dark corners of the galaxy, Threxon sat comfortably in a grand chamber filled with alien leaders. They were gathered for a meeting, discussing their plans and celebrating their recent victory over the humans. Threxon boasted about his cruel act of killing the human pet, laughing as he recounted the story. He thought the humans would cower in fear, begging for mercy. To him, they were nothing more than weak creatures. As he spoke, the other alien leaders chuckled, their voices echoing off the walls. They believed that the humans would not dare retaliate. The reputation of Earth as a peaceful planet had spread, and the aliens felt secure in their assumption that they could push the humans around without consequences. "Look at them," Threxon sneered. "They are too soft to fight back. I've shown them their place." The room erupted in laughter, and Threxon felt invincible. Meanwhile, on Earth, the super soldiers were preparing for their counterattack. But the aliens remained unaware of what was happening. In their minds, the humans were weak and unworthy of respect. Threxon and his allies believed that the soldiers of Earth would never rise again. They could not fathom the fire that burned within the hearts of the humans. Back in the alien chamber, a leader named Vorak raised his glass, proposing a toast to Threxon. "To the great mercenary! May the humans continue to serve us as mere playthings." The laughter grew louder, and the atmosphere was filled with arrogance. They couldn't see the storm brewing on Earth, where anger and determination were growing stronger with every passing moment. As Threxon continued to boast, a young alien soldier named Jax felt uneasy. He had heard stories about the humans and their fighting spirit. "But what if they fight back?" Jax asked hesitantly. "They are not as weak as you think." Threxon waved him off with a sneer. "You're just a young fool. The humans will not dare to fight. They will fold under pressure. I've crushed their spirit. As the meeting continued, Jax couldn't shake his doubts. He had seen the resolve of Earth's people in past encounters. He knew that humans had a unique strength, a fierce loyalty to each other. But his concerns were drowned out by the laughter and cheers of his comrades. The aliens continued to joke about humans, believing they would remain easy targets. Unbeknownst to them, Earth was about to surprise the galaxy. The super soldiers, under the command of Commander Rain, were ready. They had spent days training, bonding as a team, and sharpening their skills. They were not just fighting for revenge, they were fighting for their home and everything they held dear. As the soldiers finished their preparations, Rain gathered them for a final briefing. We may be outnumbered, but we have something the aliens lack: heart. We fight not just for ourselves, but for every human who has been wronged. Let's show them what we are capable of. The soldiers cheered, their voices echoing in unity. They were ready to prove the aliens wrong. Back on the alien planet, Threxen and his friends continued their celebration. They believed the humans would stay quiet and submissive. But as night fell, the first wave of Earth's super soldiers boarded their ships, stealthily approaching the alien base. They knew the element of surprise was their greatest weapon. Just as Threxen raised his glass for another toast, alarms began to sound throughout the alien facility. The laughter quickly turned to confusion as the lights flickered. "What's happening?" Vorak shouted. The aliens scrambled to understand what was going on, but it was too late. The super soldiers had arrived, ready to unleash their fury on the mercenaries. Suddenly, explosions rocked the base, sending shock waves through the chambers. The aliens had underestimated the humans, and now they would pay the price. The laughter that once filled the air was replaced by panic and fear. Threxen's expression turned from arrogance to horror as he realized the truth. The humans were fighting back, and they were more powerful than he had ever imagined. The tables had turned, and the aliens were now the ones in danger. The super soldiers, filled with purpose and rage, had arrived to reclaim their honor. The galaxy was about to witness a battle unlike any other, and Threxen's laughter would soon be silenced. As darkness fell over the alien base, chaos erupted inside. Threxen and his fellow mercenaries were still reeling from the sudden alarm and explosions that echoed through the halls. Panic spread like wildfire as they scrambled to understand what was happening. The once confident laughter that filled the chamber was now replaced by fear and confusion. Outside, the super soldiers from Earth moved with precision and purpose. Commander Rain led the charge, his heart racing with adrenaline. Each soldier was a master of combat, and they had trained for this moment. They were not just fighting for revenge, they were fighting for Earth and everything they loved. As they breached the alien defenses, their determination fueled their actions. "Stick together!" Rain shouted, guiding his team through the dark corridors. The aliens were not prepared for the ferocity of the human fighters. The super soldiers moved like shadows, taking out guards swiftly and silently. They worked as a unit, communicating with nods and hand signals, their training shining through. In the command center of the alien base, Threxen struggled to regain control. "We need to fight back! Get the weapons!" he barked at his fellow mercenaries. But it was too late. The humans were already inside, and the mercenaries were scrambling to defend themselves against a foe they had underestimated. As Rain and his soldiers pressed deeper into the base, they encountered groups of aliens attempting to regroup. The super soldiers struck with speed and efficiency, taking down their enemies one by one. Rain's tactical mind worked in overdrive as he calculated their next moves. "Take the high ground," he ordered, leading his team up a flight of stairs to gain a better vantage point. From the high ground, they could see the chaos unfolding below. Alien mercenaries were scattered, trying to figure out how to defend against the human soldiers. The super soldiers fired their weapons with deadly accuracy, picking off targets and pushing the aliens back. They fought with a passion that ignited the hearts of their fallen comrades, and every shot fired was a tribute to the pet that had been killed. In the midst of the battle, Threxen finally gathered a group of mercenaries to fight back. He was furious, and his anger fueled his desperation. "We will show them who we are! Fight, you cowards!" he yelled, rallying the remaining aliens. But the fear in their eyes told a different story. They were losing ground, and the once mighty mercenaries were now in retreat. As the battle raged on, Rain and his soldiers pushed forward, relentless in their pursuit. They could hear the cries of the alien mercenaries and the explosions of their weapons. Each clash of metal and each blast of energy fired reminded them of why they were there. They were reclaiming their honor, their home, and avenging their fallen friends. Finally, Rain spotted Threxen in the distance, barking orders at his troops. Rage surged through Rain as he locked eyes with the alien mercenary responsible for so much pain. "That's him! Let's finish this," he shouted to his team. The super soldiers charged forward, ready to confront Threxen and end his tyranny. Threxen saw them coming and felt a chill run down his spine. He had thought the humans were weak, but now he faced the wrath of their strongest warriors. "Stand your ground!" he shouted, trying to rally his troops one last time. But fear had taken hold, and the alien mercenaries began to falter. As Rain reached Threxen, the two faced off in a moment that felt like it stretched on forever. "You thought you could kill without consequences?" Rain said, his voice low and steady. "Now you will face the power of humanity." With that, Rain lunged forward, engaging Threxen in a fierce battle. The two fought with all their strength, each blow echoing through the chaos of the battle. The other soldiers continued to clash around them, but Rain's focus remained on Threxen. This was not just a fight for revenge. It was a fight for every human who had been wronged. In the heat of battle, Rain felt a surge of energy, fueled by the anger and love of his people. He knew that they would not back down. With one final blow, he managed to send Threxen crashing to the ground. The alien mercenary gasped, realizing that he had miscalculated everything. Rain stood over him, breathing heavily. "This is for Earth," he declared, and the roar of victory erupted around him. The super soldiers had struck back, proving that humanity would never be underestimated again. The aliens had laughed, but now it was their turn to feel the weight of their mistakes. Earth had risen, and they were ready to reclaim their honor, one battle at a time. The alien base was in chaos. Explosions echoed through the halls, and the sounds of battle filled the air. Super soldiers from Earth fought with determination, reclaiming their honor and proving their strength. The tide had turned, and the aliens were now on the defensive. Commander Rain stood at the center of the chaos, his heart pounding with adrenaline. As Rain faced Threxen, the alien mercenary struggled to get back on his feet. The fury in Rain's eyes burned bright. "You thought you could bully us?" he shouted, his voice carrying over the noise of the battle. Threxen, now desperate and angry, lunged at Rain with a dagger, but the human soldier was ready. With swift reflexes, Rain dodged the attack and countered with a punch that sent Threxen staggering back. The two continued to clash, each blow fueled by the anger of the fallen. Rain remembered the innocent pet that had been killed, and that memory drove him to fight harder. Threxen was skilled, but Rain had the strength of humanity behind him. He felt his fellow soldiers rallying around him, their spirits lifting him higher. In the background, the battle raged on. The super soldiers were pushing the aliens back, taking control of the base. With every fallen alien mercenary, Rain felt a renewed sense of purpose. He knew that they were fighting not just for victory, but for the future of Earth. Rain seized the moment to taunt Threxen. "You thought humans were weak, but look at us now! We are united, and we will not back down!" Threxen's eyes flared with rage as he charged again, his dagger slashing through the air. But Rain was quick, deflecting the attack with his own weapon. The two were locked in a deadly dance, each trying to gain the upper hand. As they fought, Threxen began to realize the truth. The humans were a force to be reckoned with. His overconfidence was crumbling, replaced by fear. He knew he had underestimated his enemies, and now he was paying the price. Rain was relentless, pushing Threxen to his limits. Meanwhile, the other super soldiers continued their assault, clearing out the alien mercenaries and securing the area. The cries of the fallen echoed around them, and each victory fueled their determination. They were not just fighting for revenge, they were fighting for their people and their home. The tide of the battle was turning, and hope surged within them. Back in the main chamber, Rain finally gained the upper hand. With a powerful kick, he knocked Threxen to the ground, disarming him in the process. The alien mercenary lay there, panting and desperate, looking up at Rain with a mixture of fear and disbelief. "Please don't kill me," Threxen gasped, his bravado crumbling. "I was only following orders." Rain stared down at Threxen, anger and sadness swirling within him. "You took a life for sport. You thought we wouldn't fight back. You have no idea what you've unleashed." The words hung heavy in the air, and for a moment, the two were locked in a tense standoff. Before Rain could make a decision, his fellow soldiers rushed in, surrounding Threxen. They were ready to exact justice for their fallen comrades. Rain raised a hand, signaling them to hold. He wanted to show the alien mercenary that humans were not monsters. "We don't have to kill you," Rain said, his voice steady. "But you must answer for what you've done." Threxen, sensing a glimmer of hope, nodded quickly. "I will tell you everything. Just let me live." But Rain knew that the choice was not his alone to make. He looked at his team, their expressions filled with a mix of anger and pity. In the end, Rain made a choice. He would spare Threxen's life, but would send him back to his people with a warning. "You will leave here and tell them what you learned today. Humans are not to be underestimated. We will protect our own, no matter the cost." With that, Rain turned away, signaling for his team to continue their mission. The super soldiers had fought hard and won. They had shown the galaxy that humanity was a force to be reckoned with. As the aliens began to retreat, Rain felt a wave of relief wash over him. They had not only avenged their fallen, but had also forged a new path for Earth. As the last of the alien mercenaries fled, Rain looked at his soldiers. They had fought bravely and had proven that Earth would not be pushed around. Together they had awakened a spirit of defiance, a fire that would burn brightly in the face of any future threats. The battle was won, but the war for their honor and home was far from over. With a shared sense of victory, the super soldiers prepared to return to Earth, ready to defend it against any who dared to challenge them. They had awakened, and they would never go back to sleep.